This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, good morning. Any doubts from previous topics? Okay, today we are going to discuss about conditions in coding. So conditions are the one which we are going to use it in our program when it is has to be checked before to perform some operations. Basically we have if and case statements. So if is a condition statement directly which will perform on the value of the database object, but case is a condition statement, the operation is different, which means the case is always pointing to the data object, not to the value. So that we will see it, what is the difference between if and case statements. Let's say I have created a data object of type name. So type is C and number of characters I just assigned for this is 10 characters. And LV name, I'm passing a value equal to Sanjay, and then I'm using write keyword to display my data object value LV name. Save, check, activate. So what this program will do, it will get the value from LV name data object to our output. Now let's say I'm not passing any result. Okay, I just created but not giving any value. So in this case, if I do save check activate, system will accept, and if you execute, you will be getting blank. So why we have to display blank value when there is no value assigned? So you need to stop executing database objects values when there is no value maintained. To stop this behavior, what you are going to do, you are going to check. The check will be happened with the if statement. If LV name is initial. Is initial means if it is blank, if followed by always and if. Okay. So this is a condition statement. If and if, in between what you are writing, LV name is initial means if it is blank, then display this value. Okay. But in our case, if it is blank, then don't display, right? So then you can use is not initial. So is not initial means if it has value, LV name has value, then only display. That is the meaning of is not initial. So you can write is not initial. Let me activate and execute. Now you will see there is no output is coming because here LV name value is blank. So if I pass value, now if I try again execution, I'll be getting the result because right in between a condition statement where the condition is if this data object has value, is not initial means has value, then only display the result. So same condition you can also write in a way if LV name not equal to space, which means if it LV name is not blank. So in that case also display the value, execute, you will be getting the same result. So if I comment this value passing, now LV name has any value? No. So if it is space, so when it is space, the condition will fail and it won't get into this particular write statement. So you will not see any outcome. So if is a condition statement which is used directly on the database object values. So here you can, this condition statement, it will check value on the database object value and then it will allow us to proceed further. So if you wanted to pass a message when if there is no value is assigned, okay, so in that case how do you write? So if LV name not equal to space display, which means if LV name has value, okay, then go and write the value. In a case like LV name is blank, value is not provided, that is comes under else part. So else, then what you are going to write, we are displaying a message. So message is please enter value for LV name, and this type is information message, we are passing information message. So save, check, activate, now execute. So now you are getting message, please enter value for LV name. So why message is coming? Because we have commented. So when you have commented, the value is not passing. So when it is not passing, LV name becomes space. There is no value inside LV name. When there is no value, message statement will get triggered. If you wanted to see in clear, you can place a breakpoint here and execute. In the debug mode, you can see. So LV name, is there any value? No. So when there is no value, which means space. So space or blank, both are same. So when it is equal, so equal means the condition is not true. So space equal to space is true. Space not equal to space is not correct, right? So then it won't go to the right statement. So it will go to the else statement, and then it is displaying the value message into the output. So if is a condition statement which is implemented on database object value, okay? And by using if, you can check multiple conditions like right now we are passing LV name. So let's say one more also there, data LV address of 5 characters, type C. And one more thing, so type addition, it is not required always for the characters. So you can also write in this way. So when you declare it with the type addition, data addition followed by data object, automatically it will consider as this is a character only. Default system consider this is a character data object. So if you specify or not specify, there is no issue. It will be treated as a character only. So now LV add. equal to I'm passing address Hyderabad. And here one more check I wanted to do, like if name is maintained and what else, address also maintained, both I need to check. Then in that case you have to use and statement, and LV address is not initial. Is not initial or not equal to space, both are same. This one or this one, both are same only, is not initial. So pretty print. What we are doing here, if name is maintained and address is maintained, both are maintained, then display name, comma, address. So when both are maintained, display both the values. So that is what the condition what we have implemented. So execute. So you will be getting two records because the two data objects condition was success. For example, you are not passing address value, only you are passing name. So when you are passing only name, we will not get any result here because this statement will fail and it will go to the else and it will display a message statement, but it should not display message. It has to check whether LV name has value or not. Then you have to use else if statement. Else if LV name is not initial. So is not initial means if LV name has value, then you can write LV name. So here use else if when LV name is initial and LV address, or you can write LV is initial message. So pretty print, save, check, activate. So multiple conditions checks we are doing here. So what are the multiple condition checks? If name is maintained, address is maintained, display name and address. If any one of the one is missing, like address is not maintained or name is not maintained, then a first statement will not work. It will go to the else statement. So where it will check whether name is maintained or not. So if name is maintained, then it will display right value. So else if it will go to another else if name is, for example, name is also not maintained, okay, then it will go to another else if statement. It will check if it is initial, then it will trigger the message, please enter value. So which means if is a condition statement, so by using if you can do multiple condition checks by using else if. So that is what the intention of if else if statement. Multiple times you can do the validations. So in this case, I will be only getting Sanjay. So if I pass, if I make this also blank, then I'll get the message. So this is an example how do we work with if condition. If is a condition statement. So we'll go and see a case statement. So let me comment this. So how do we work with case statement? So let me create some data objects, LV name or LV country. LV country is 3 characters. LV name, which is 10 characters. So I'll be passing country, LV country value as IND, India. Mm, Case LV country followed by end case. So case always followed by end case, and always you have to point the value when India, right? LV underscore name, LV underscore name equal to India. So pretty print end case, pretty print save, check, activate. So I am passing country India to field LV country. So based on the country, I wanted to display value, whatever I'm passing. So here, what I'm checking, case followed by LV country. So I am pointing to the country, LV country. So when it is pointing to the country and when statement, it will always check for the value inside of it. When it is India, then it will display. So if you pass some other value, then this statement will not work. So if I write one more statement, when USA, alright, LV name, when CAN Canada, right, LV name, when Germany, alright, LV name. So pretty print, save, check, activate. So I am passing country India. When I am passing country India, directly it will go to the logic of IND. So if you execute, so it is checking, pointing to the field LV country. Case is pointing to the data object. When is pointing to the value. So now in the data object, we have value as IND. So when it is IND, so directly the when statement, whatever it is written for IND, which will trigger, and it will go and display the value, whatever it is there inside of the LV name, F8. India. So if I change here to Germany, save, check, activate. Now execute. Now case statement which is pointing to country, field, and now value is Germany. So case is pointing to data object and when is pointing to value. So now line when India will not trigger, when USA will not trigger, when Canada will not trigger. So directly it will go to the 94th line because the value is Germany. So F6, you can see directly it is going to the Germany, not even it is checking one by one line. It is not checking one by one line. Directly it is going to the Germany. And then whatever there it is, which will be displayed into the output. So case statement, when it will be used is whenever multiple conditions has to be checked on a single field. Okay. So country, based on the country, I have to display a different name. So that means countries are, so many countries are there. In that case, I have to write my logic in a way directly it will go and execute. It should not check each and every line by line. So directly it has to go based on my value inside the data object. In that case, we will use case statements. So when we will use if statements is if condition has to be checked one by one. So when you go to this if statements will be checked one after another. Direct, it won't go for the uh, second else if statement by skipping the first else if. So else if statements execution will be line by line. So direct value check. This is direct value check, but here it is a field check. Based on the value, the logic execution will happen. So when you find a particular field, multiple conditions need to that particular field. Based on the field value, you have to perform so many actions. Then it is suggested to go and use case and when statements. So same thing, you can also write with if statement. See how if statement will work. If LV country is not initial, means if it has data, okay, then or you can write if LV country equal to, either you can use this one or equal to, anything is fine. If LV country equal to IND, then write LV name. Else if LV country, else if LV country equal to USA, write LV name. Else if LV country equal to Canada, write LV name. Else if LV country equal to Germany, write LV name. So end if. So pretty print, save. So I am commenting this line, check, activate. So now same logic we will see. Now the country is Germany, right? So place the cursor here and execute. So what is the country? Germany. So in this case, how the if conditions will go, like first it will check the first line. Okay, this is not German. Then it will go to the second case statement. It will check against with the second. It is not German. So it will go to the third. It will go to the fourth. Then in the fourth case, the matching record found. LV country is Germany. Then it will go inside the logic and display. So in this case, to display the value, three times it has been checked against with the country, right? So the time taken process is more here compared to the above case process. In the case, it is pointing to the data object based on the value, directly that value execution is applicable. So for a better performance point, whenever you wanted to validate multiple conditions on a particular field, it is always recommended to use case statements instead of if statements. So when if statement is required is whenever you wanted to do some simple validation on a direct field value level. In that case, it is suggested to use. So based on your requirement, multiple conditions or multiple direct value check. So you have to choose your requirement and then use it in the code level. So this way we can work with the case and if statements, condition statements. Okay, let me comment this logic. So we will go and see loop statements, which are nothing but do and while. data n1 type I do n1 times and do write n1 n1 equal to psi hyphen index write n1 equal to 10. So pretty print, save, check, activate. So I have created a integer type data object, that is n1, and then I have assigned a value to data object which is 10. After that, what I am saying, do n1 times means do is a loop operator based on the number of uh, times execution this will be triggered. That means here the value assignment for n1 is 10. So this do loop will trigger 10 times. So each time side index is nothing but current iteration of the record number. So it will be filled automatically. Okay, so which what my requirement, what my final goal is to, I wanted to display records 1 to 10, number 1 to 10 into the output. So new line, I will be using new line command to display each and every value in the output as a new line. So you can see 1 to 10 records values count is coming. How it is coming? Let me place a breakpoint here, execute. So n1 value is 10. I am asking to perform 10 times, do 10 times. So do is a loop operator. So first time it will go inside. If you check the index position, automatically it is filled based on the iteration. So first time it enter into the loop. Now index value which is assigned to the value n1, write n1. This is second time, n2, third time. Like this, how many times it will trigger is total 10 times this loop will trigger, and finally it will come out from the loop after 10th time. So do is a loop operator, loop command. By using this, you can trigger multiple times the data objects values into output. So while we will see uses of while followed by end while n1, while is a conditional loop, while n1 less than 5. So let me comment this, pretty printer, save. So while is a conditional operator. So what you are saying here, while n1 less than 5. So I am not passing any value here because while not required. So comment this. So initially n1 value is 0. You just declared n1. So initial value is 0. So 0 less than 5 is true. Then it will go inside, and at that moment index value is 1, which is assigned to n1. So like this until less than 5. So when it reaches 5, condition will fail. 5 is less than 5, which is not correct. Then it will stop doing the execution. So let me activate this. What happened? Period is missing. Okay, and while save, check, activate, and execute. So I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 which is coming? So let me place a breakpoint here, execute. What is the n1 value? Which is 0. So 0 is less than 5. It is going inside. So first time iteration. So signed x value is 1. So it is passing value to output 1. Second time. Now the value of n1 is 1. 1 is also less than 5. Now third time, what is the n1 value? N1 value is 3, which is also less than 5. So like this, it will go until it reaches to the value of 5 where the condition failed. So now value of n1 is 5. So 5 is less than 5. It is not correct. Then it will come out from the end while. So loop, there are two kind of loops we have. One is do loop and another one is while loop. What is a difference between do loop and while loop is, do loop you will specify how many times it has to be run. So that many times this do loop will trigger. Okay, so do n1 times means that many times only this loop will trigger. You are directly saying to the loop these many iterations are required. But in while loop, you are specifying a condition. Based on your condition, this while will decide how many times it has to trigger until it satisfies with the condition. So until unless it will keep on rotating and triggered and display the values. So based on your need in the real time cases, you have to specify the count. Then you can go with the do loop, and there is a condition that has to be satisfied. Then only your loop has to be triggered and display the values. Then you can go with the while loop. So do and while are loop related. So when you wanted to display multiple values, repeated iterations has to be done. In that case we will use do and while. So in this way we will work with the do and while loop commands. And at last today is we are going to talk about internal table. So what is this internal table? As we already discussed, we have different types of data objects. So what are those? We have variables and work area and internal table. What is the difference between these three? Variable holds single value, work area holds single record information, internal table holds multiple records information. This is what the difference. So far we have seen different variables creation and how to pass the values to the variable, how can we display the values into the output. So those things we have seen, and we will discuss working with the work area and internal table. How can we create a work area or internal table and how can we work with that? So let's say I wanted to get sales item information. So sales order data will be stored in VA01, right? So VA03 for any existing sales order. If you go to the sales order, you will be having item section. So items may be more. So at runtime, if I wanted to capture all the items, what should I do? I have to need a internal table. I need a data object which stores all the all the items in application server level. To store all the items into application server level, I have to create an internal table. How do I create internal table is, so where this data will be reset, this data will be stored in a table called SC11 VBAP. So VBAP is the table where all the data will be stored for a sales order, item details. So if I pass 11152, I'll get sales order item details. So this sales order has single line item. So single items are coming. Few sales orders have multiple line items. So basically this table will store sales order item information. So 4972. Let's take 4972. So this sales order has multiple items. So basically VBAP will give me all the items from for a sales order. Now to display the sales order item details in the application server, I have to create an internal table because directly we cannot display all the table information into output. First, we have to store under a internal table. Internal table is nothing but which is a temporary table created on the application server. So what is a difference between this VBAP table and internal table is VBAP table is a table which created in database level. So this table exists in database. So it is a permanent table and it stores sales order item information. What is internal table? Internal table is a temporary table which created on application server. So the memory of the internal table is temporary until your program execution is there. The memory will be allocated and table also exists. Once you come out from the program, your table and the memory, whatever it is assigned, and even the data captured in the table, everything will be removed. So these are intermediate table between the presentation and the database to hold the information before displaying to the presentation server level. So now how can we create internal table is, so if based on your requirement is to fetch sales order item information, then you have to create internal table with respect to sales order item table. So the syntax for the internal table declaration is data internal table type table of followed by your database table. So from which table you need data to be fetched. So you need to specify that table. Then what will happen? A same table like a VBAP table, how it is created in the database with the fields, everything. There are how many fields? 401 fields are there, and there is a memory size category. This is called memory. So 35,000 records this table holds. So that memory will be allocated for this internal table because at runtime it has to store the sales order item information from the VBAP table. So let's create internal table. So data, I'm creating table called VBAK. So type table of, so give the table name as VBAK. So pretty print, save, check, activate. So there is an error. What is that? So let's comment this one. So this is syntax. Okay, it's not a real-time value. So save, check, activate. So now what happened? Data object type is internal table is created. Why it is created? To hold the value from VBAK table. So I need work area also. Work area, how it will be created. So work area, how it will be created is, so syntax is same, but only difference is you have to use type addition. So work area VBAK type followed by VBAK table. So pretty print, save, check, activate. So if I write um, right, we can't use if IT VBAK is not initial, means it has data. If internal table has data, this is a condition statement. So why I have written condition statement is because I wanted to show you in debug mode how internal table work area is created. So this is declaration part. So declaration part, you can't place a breakpoint. You need a operation to place the breakpoint. Now if you execute, so this is internal table, this is the work area. If you go and check here, So ITVBAK has a body and it represents like standard table, and there are 2124 columns are there. Sorry, 149 columns are there inside VBAK, and work area VBAK you can see structure. So here itself we can see the difference. It's a table and this is a structure. So table means if you double click, so this is a table. It is ready to hold multiple records. If your VBAK table items are 40, 40 items will be captured into ITVBAK table. So ITVBAK table was created for the purpose to capture all the items from the database to application server level. Now, if you go to work area always holds single record. So any one record only, it won't allocate memory to capture all the four records. So at a time it accept only one record. Either line item 10 you can pass or line item 20 you can pass. At a time it holds a single record. That is what the difference between internal table and work area. Why we are creating internal table? To hold database table values at runtime. Why we need to hold that values? Because in the presentation server, you can't display directly the database values through report. So that's where you need data object first. From the database, you will fetch these values into data object, type internal table. From the internal table, you will display information to presentation level. Now, how can I display values from the internal table work area to output? So we know to display value of a data object of type variable, we are using write command. Write is the one which will display value of data object type variable to output. But what about work area and internal table? Can we use write statement? Let's say my internal table has four records. So can I use ITVBAK write? Or if my work area has one record, so can I use work area VBAK with write to display the values from the internal table work area? No, system will not accept. So write is a keyword, only this has been used for variables. So write keyword, you can't use it for internal table or work area. So to display internal table contents, what you have to do, first you need to pass internal table data to work area. Once you have data in work area, break that work area into local variable so that the data will be displayed. So I'll write a simple select query to get the data. Select the star from VBAK into table ITVBAK. So now VBAK has data. So to display this value, so we need to use loop at ITVBAK into work area VBAK followed by end loop. So in between we have to use write command. Write work area VBAK hyphen VBELN work area VBAK hyphen ERDAT. I'll be passing only two records. Ready print, save, check, activate. So what I'm doing here, I created a data object, internal table, work area. Okay. And then I have used a command called select to get all the data from VBAK. So select star means select all the details, all the data from VBAK table and move this information into table, internal table. So fetch sales order data and move it into internal table. This is what the meaning of the line select star from VBAK into table IT VBAK. And whatever you see in upper cases, that is syntax. whatever you see in lower cases, that is your own naming conventions. Okay, if you wanted to get the data from KNA1 table, you have to use select star from as it is, change VBAK to KNA1 into table followed by ITKNA1. Change ITVBAK to ITKNA1 if your task is to get customer master data. So now if I execute this ITVBAK, you can see there are no records in this table so far. Let's F6. So when you click on F6, you can see 15,375 records are there in this internal table. So 15,375 records are there in table VBAK. You can compare with the VBAK table. So go to VBAK table. So this is VBAK table, not VBAK, VBAP. So go to VBAK table, table contents. So here check number of entries. So 15,375. How many records we have? 15,375. So now the database values. So in the database, whatever the sales orders are there, now these sales orders are already all are fetched from the database and then moved into internal table. So all these 15,375 records are fetched and moved into internal table. Now internal table has records, but I can't display internal table data directly. So for that, what we are doing, so this is a statement to check whether internal table has data or not. Is not initial. So we have data, then it is allowing inside. So we have used a loop. So this is a conditional, this is not conditional loop or any other loop. If do loop while loop, not like that. So this is a loop, it will bring all the values from internal table to work area. So how many times this loop will trigger is based on the number of entries. So total 15,375 records are there. This loop will trigger 15,375 times. And what this loop does is it will pass one by one record to work area. So internal table holds multiple records. Work area always allocated single record. So what is the first record is that is custom sales order number one, that will be moved to work area after F5. So first record customer number one, which is sales order number one, move to work area. Once you have data in work area, you can break this work area into variables. So this is work area. Work area VBAK is a combination of collection of group of fields. If you break each and every field, okay, then it will be a variable. When it is fields together, we can say that is a work area. When you break the fields into different blocks, then this is called variable. Variable is holding single value only. Now you can use this variable with the right statement to display data into output. So to display data into output, what we are doing, we were moving internal table data to work area. Why? Because internal table or work area, by using right statement, we can't display the values. So what values can only display by right statement is only variables values. For that reason, we will be moving one by one record to work area, and work area will be divided into different variables. So when you use write with that individual variable, then values inside it is going to display into the output. How many times this loop will trigger, how many records that internal table have. So your internal table have 15,000 records, so this loop will trigger 15,000 times. So I will be executing directly F8. I'll be executing direct F8 and checking the results. So here I am only displaying the sales order number and the date. That's where I am getting only these two records. So if you need more information, you have to write it here. BBLN, ERDAT, AURT like this. you have to write manually, then only you can see the data into the output. So I'll be stopping with this today. So far what we discussed is, we discussed today about what is this? If and case statements, and also we discussed about loop statements, do and while, and then we started discussion on internal table and work area. So we have written a simple program where we created internal table work area and written a select query, SQL query, to get the data from the database. After that we have used if condition along with the loop. uh, by using right, we are able to display the information. So hope it is clear. If any doubts, please let me know so that I'll try to clarify you. Okay, if no questions, we can wind up for today. Thank you.